Before you judge me, please hear the whole story. Because if I'd walked into my lawyer's office 10 minutes earlier, my marriage would have ended over a misunderstanding. At least, that's what I believed. My name is Ryan. I'm 36. My wife, Emma, and I had been married for 11 years. From the outside, we looked like one of those couples everyone envied. 2 kids. Nice house. Steady jobs. Family vacations every summer. Matching Christmas photos. But pictures never tell the whole story. For almost 2 years, we'd slowly become strangers. We barely talked unless it was about bills, groceries, or the kids. She stayed up late scrolling on her phone. I buried myself in work. Every conversation somehow turned into an argument. I convinced myself she had stopped loving me. Maybe she'd met someone else. Maybe she was only staying because of the children. The thought ate at me every single night. Then came the final straw. One evening, I came home early after a meeting was cancelled. Emma was in the kitchen, smiling down at her phone. Not just smiling. Laughing. A kind of laugh I hadn't heard in years. The moment she noticed me, she locked her screen. That tiny movement felt like a knife. "Who's making you smile like that?" I asked. "No one." She answered too quickly. "It's just something Mom sent." I nodded. Pretended I believed her. But I didn't. That night, while she slept, I almost unlocked her phone. My finger hovered over it. Then I stopped. If I'd reached that point, our marriage was already broken. The next morning, I called a divorce lawyer. He scheduled me for Friday. 3 days away. 3 days to decide whether 11 years together were worth saving. I didn't tell Emma. I figured. What was the point? She clearly wasn't fighting for us either. Friday arrived. I left work early. The lawyer's office was 20 minutes away. On the drive there, I remembered I'd forgotten an important tax document at home. I cursed under my breath. Turned the car around. If I hadn't forgotten that folder, none of this would have happened. When I got home, the house was strangely quiet. The kids were still at school. Emma's car was outside. As I walked in, I heard voices upstairs. Emma and her mother. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop. Honestly. I just froze when I heard my own name. I don't know how much longer I can hide it. Emma's voice cracked. My heart sank. This was it. She was finally admitting she'd fallen out of love. Her mother spoke softly. "You have to tell him eventually." Emma was quiet for several seconds. Then she whispered, "I'm terrified he'll blame himself." I frowned. Blame myself? For what? Her mother asked gently. Emma started crying. Actual crying. The kind of crying someone does when they think nobody's listening. I've watched him work himself into exhaustion. He thinks he's failing us. He keeps apologizing for things that aren't even his fault. Every muscle in my body went still. She continued. He doesn't know I hear him at night. My stomach tightened. Hear what? Her mother asked. He thinks I'm asleep. But I hear him crying in the shower. I felt my face burn. I'd never told anyone that. Not a soul. Emma kept speaking through tears. I know he thinks I've stopped loving him. But the truth is, I'm scared. Scared of what? The biopsy. Everything inside me stopped. Biopsy? I still haven't gotten the results. The room went silent. Then Emma whispered something I'll never forget. I didn't tell Ryan because if it's cancer, I don't want his last memories of me to be hospitals. Tears rolled down my face before I even realized I was crying. Her mother reached for her. I just wanted one normal month. I wanted him to smile again. I wanted the kids to have one more summer before everything changed. I leaned against the hallway wall because my legs suddenly felt weak. The phone she'd been smiling at? Her mother had been sending ridiculous cat videos every day, trying to keep her spirits up. The late nights? She wasn't texting another man. She was researching hospitals, treatment centers, survival rates, support groups. Everything I'd assumed was wrong. Then came the sentence that shattered me. I've been pretending to pull away. Because if I don't survive, maybe it'll hurt him less. I couldn't breathe. 4 weeks. I'd been preparing to leave the woman who was secretly preparing herself to die. My eyes landed on the folder still in my hand. Divorce papers. Consultation notes. Everything suddenly felt disgusting. The floor creaked beneath my feet. Emma looked toward the doorway. Our eyes met. For a second, neither of us moved. Then she realized how much I'd heard. I'm sorry, she whispered. I crossed the room before she could say another word. Pulled her into my arms. She completely fell apart. I didn't want you to worry. I thought I was protecting you. I held her tighter. And I thought you didn't love me anymore. She looked up, confused. What? I laughed through tears. I actually hired a divorce lawyer. Her eyes widened. You, what? I was on my way there. I held up the folder. But I forgot this. She stared at it for a long moment. Then started laughing. Not because it was funny. Because sometimes, when life overwhelms you, laughter is the only thing stopping you from breaking completely. 3 days later, we sat together in the doctor's office. Hand in hand. The longest 10 minutes of my life. The doctor smiled. The biopsy is benign. Neither of us spoke. Emma burst into tears. I buried my face in her shoulder. We both cried like children. Not because we'd been strong. Because we were finally allowed to stop pretending to be. That was 18 months ago. We started counseling. We learned something neither of us had ever been taught. Love doesn't usually fall apart because people stop caring. It falls apart because people stop talking. Today, our marriage isn't perfect. But it's honest. If one of us is scared, we say it. If we're hurting, we admit it. If we're struggling, we don't hide behind silence anymore. People sometimes ask what saved our marriage. It wasn't therapy. It wasn't luck. It wasn't even the biopsy results. It was one forgotten folder. And one conversation I was never supposed to hear. Sometimes we think we're protecting the people we love by hiding our pain. But silence creates stories. And those stories are often far more destructive than the truth. I came home that day expecting to end my marriage. Instead, I finally learned how to fight for it.